Good morning. My name is Christopher Riggs. I'm the investigator that investigated the house fire on 1234 Main Street that occurred on the 23rd of February 2016. This fire occurred approximately between 10 and 10:30 a.m. Owner report, who is the reporting party for the fire, stated that she had been cooking breakfast, was making bacon on the stove when she took a phone call, stepped away to the front porch, forgetting that there was food cooking on the stove. When she came back to the stove, she found that there was a fire that had broken out in the grease. She had evacuated the home and called 911. At the time of the fire, she said she was making breakfast for her kids, so she and her kids were the occupants of the home. So 3 occupants total were in the home at the time of the fire. No other occupants were left inside. She was able to call 911 via cell phone, safely evacuated everyone from the house. Upon fire's arrival, they had found fire in the kitchen area around the stove, spreading into the living room area. They quickly suppressed the fire using water. No other resources were used. Once fire was under control, they called an investigator to confirm findings, given the circumstances of the fire potentially being intentionally set. Upon my arrival, I noticed no real damage to the house on the exterior other than around the kitchen area. The house was a single-family household of ordinary construction, well kept, no obvious obstructions, no obvious impairments of the home. Upon entering the structure through the front door, which is the same area or the same entrance that fire used, there was no obvious damage or obstructions to the doorway or through the path of the fire. Once you make your way through the household, there is noted increased heat and smoke damage as you approach the kitchen area. There are no other significant damage noted to the rest of the household other than smoke. And as you get closer to the seat of the fire, you note that there's obvious signs of heat and water damage from the fire suppression efforts. As you enter the kitchen area, you have obvious V pattern noted above the stove area, indicating that this could possibly be the source of the fire. There's also pans on the stove. There is noted drywall as well on the stove from the fire suppression efforts, piercing through the wall to look for extension into the walls. There's no other obvious signs of that would indicate that the fire was set intentionally. There is a pan on the stove that has been burned through. It's been incredibly hot. There's photographs of this all included. For my analysis, I would say that the fire does corroborate with the witness statement stating that she was cooking on the stove and had left the stove unattended until which time that the grease in the pan ignited and then ultimately spread up and outward from the kitchen area, spreading into the living room. Fortunately, the fire department was able to put a quick stop to it, limiting damage to just the area around the stove and living room area. I see no signs that this fire was intentional. From witness statements, it seems to corroborate the findings with her statement. I would say that this fire is accidental in nature and requires no further follow-up.